Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, good to be here. And as promised, I have the Craft Series Mangrove Jack hard apple cider here to try for you guys. Now before we do that, let's just take a moment to remind you that I did brew this a couple of weeks ago. And if you haven't seen that video, it is on YouTube. It's on here, so you can watch that if you like. And it's very easy to make. And this is the picture of it. I think if I hover over, you'll be able to see the sort of a close-up of it. I'm not sure if you can read any of that. 5.2%. Mine ended up a little bit stronger than that because I put a little extra dextrose in it, just because it's the way I measured it. And we back sweetened it with something. I don't know what that was, but they sent a little package to put in it, and we flavored it with something else that they sent along with it too. So I have drank it already, so I'm not going to try and tell you that I haven't. But we'll just go through it here and over it, and I'll talk a little bit about my first experiences with fermenting things like this and how that went. So here we go. So it's carbonated. Now it doesn't look carbonated, but it is. I did bottle some of it, as you may already know, and so those bottles are still naturally carbonating. And next week I'll open one and we'll see what difference there is. I don't know if there's going to be any of this left. My son's been drinking it as well. So it looks, flat, but it's not. It just doesn't look sparkling, which is a little disappointing to me. But in a keg, I guess I could have hammered it with some more CO2, but it doesn't matter. I like it the way it is. We'll see how it turns out in the bottle. Anyway, without further ado, give this a try for you and tell you what I think. It smells like apples, so there you go. You know what? It's really good. My son, I have two boys living here, and my younger one, who's 15, he walked by when I was cooking dinner tonight, and he saw that sitting on the dishwasher, and he said, "Can I try this?" And well, obviously it's alcoholic, but because he's home with his parents, I said, "Sure, go ahead." And he sipped it, and he says, "Wow, that's really good." And he doesn't consume alcohol normally. Obviously, he's too young, but he did say that he did like it. So, that's a testament to how good it is. You can't taste the alcohol, and there's no bitterness. I've fermented, apple juice from the grocery store before, and sometimes when it's finished, you get a little bit of a bitter taste to it. This doesn't have that. It's very pleasant and pleasing. We had the opportunity to sweeten it more or less depending on what we wanted, and so I did it sort of half and half. Like, I didn't put the whole sweetener in, I just put half of it in, and for me this is perfect. It's not too sweet and it's not too bitter or too dry. So very refreshing. The only wish that I have was that it was more carbonated, and I could do that, but now that the keg is, I've had a few of these and it's down a bit, that's a waste of a lot of CO2 to actually, I could put it on it overnight, I suppose. Maybe I will. Tonight when I go to bed, I'll stick 30 pounds on it, and tomorrow night I'll take it off. It'll be much more carbonated. It's just that to fill up, when a keg is full, there's only this much space at the top, so it's not a lot of air to compress. But when you have, let's say, this much space at the top of a keg, then you put that pressure on it, that is more air that can be compressed. So you're wasting some CO2 there, because it's going to take more CO2 to put that pressure on that liquid, because of that space in there where it can be compressed. So, but I'll do it tonight if I remember. Before I go to bed, I'll crank that up and see how it works. But it's really nice. Maybe a couple ice cubes, if you like that. Sit out back, summertime, drink one of these or two. It's very pleasant. It doesn't give you a headache, because I know sometimes when you make these sweeter wines or drinks, sometimes for me anyways, they just give me a headache. I don't like sweet stuff, but this is nice. I've had 4 or 5 of these in one night, excuse me, and they are carbonated. Cheers to that. I'm not, sponsored by these guys or anything like that, but this was sent to me as a gift. Thank you, Marco. And I don't know how much they cost. They do have other ones too. There's a mixed berry, there's a pear, there's a strawberry and pear, blueberry cider, peach and passion cider, raspberry and mango. So, there's different ones you can try. But, I'm remembering my very first, like when I first started making beer, 27 years ago or whatever it was, I knew nothing about making beer. Nothing. They gave me a can of stuff, the tub of this, bag of sugar, put it in the pot, bring it to a boil, stir it, put this in, do that, and I had these instructions on a piece of paper, and I kept those instructions and I used them over and over again for several months because I just didn't want to do it wrong. I thought, if this isn't exactly the way they say to do it, it ain't gonna work. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth, of course. As we know, anything will ferment with the test sugar in it. Fruit sitting on a table, if you leave it there long enough, the yeast will gather on the skin of the fruit or on the outside, and it will start to ferment. That's why it rots. Not only that, but bacteria and mold. But fruit does ferment as it sits there. It's a natural thing that happens, and when fruit falls from the trees or the plants, it lands and it ferments, and what's left is the seeds that, of course, germinate the next plant for the next year. So, I'm not a gardener or anything like that, or a plant person, but I do know that that's a natural process that happens. So fermenting things is easy, and if you've never done it, don't be scared of it. Just do it. Just put some yeast into a thing of juice and let her rip. That's all you got to do. Make sure there's no sulfites in it. The first time I ever fermented juice was a video that I saw on YouTube from, I think it was Murden 2002 was his name. Murden 2002. And he was showing how to make, I actually spoke to him on Skype quite a few times a few years ago. He's a nice guy. I'm not sure if he's still around, but he was showing how to make hard apple cider with actual apple cider. So what did I do? I went out to the store and I got a thing of apple cider, poured some out, make some space, put some sugar in it, put my yeast in, put a airlock on it, and away it went. And I was surprised when it was finished. I'm drinking this stuff and I'm getting drunk off of this stuff, that I made from grocery store ingredients. I think I even used Fleischmann's bloody, bread yeast. I'm pretty sure I did at the time. So, just to try to prove that you can make the stuff with grocery store ingredients, If that's all you want to do is get drunk, then yeah, you can do that. But that was surprising to me, and I was fascinated by it, and I thought, wow, you can. That opened up my doors for a lot of different things that I've tried. I've made rice wine, and I haven't done a lot of things. I do have a book over there, actually. I don't have it with me at the moment, but it was also sent by the same person, Marco, and it's got a lot of different recipes in it for different kinds of ciders and wines and things like that you can ferment. So I'm looking forward to going through that, and we'll pick some out and we'll do some on here as well. That'll be fun. So that'll be cool. We'll do it over there in the brewing area. Then I started brewing my own wine, and I didn't, realize that you can make excellent quality wine, red or white, with these, wine kits that you buy in a box. You really can. If you like wine, or if your wife does, or your husband, depending on who you are, definitely give those a whirl as well. They're cheap. I mean, depending on where you live, a bottle of wine for me is no cheaper than $10. And that's the cheapest bottle of wine you can find anywhere here. $10. I know there's other places you can get one for $2-3, Okay, then don't bother making your own then. But for me, if I can make a bottle of wine for $1, yeah, I think you know what I'm gonna do. So anyway, I just I promised this, and I want to tell you that this is delicious. And next week I'll pop one of those bottles that's been naturally carbonated. I'll chill it up and pop it, and we'll see how it pours and how it looks, and we'll see how it tastes. So, okay guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thumb up the video if you like it. Thumb it down if you don't. And please post a comment down below. I'd love to hear it and read those comments from you guys. Thank you. Be safe. Cheers. Happy brewing. 17.